The year is 1974. New York City is a cauldron of social and economic unrest. Out of this urban decay rises a new sound, raw and untamed. This is punk rock, and at its heart are four lads from Forest Hills, Queens, the Ramones. The Ramones weren't virtuoso musicians. They didn't need to be. Their power lay in their simplicity. Short, sharp bursts of energy, catchy melodies, lyrics full of teenage angst and streetwise humour. This was a sound that resonated with a generation disillusioned with the excesses of 70s rock. Their self-titled debut album, released in 1976, is a blueprint for punk rock. Songs like Blitzkrieg Bop and Judy as a punk are anthems of rebellion. They're stripped-down, 2-minute blasts of pure energy. The Ramones may not have invented punk, but they gave it a voice that would echo across the globe. Punk rock didn't stay confined to the mean streets of New York for long. Across the Atlantic, a disaffected youth facing economic hardship and social upheaval embraced punk's raw energy. In London, a new breed of bands emerged, even more confrontational and nihilistic than their American counterparts. At the forefront of this British punk explosion were the Sex Pistols. Managed by the infamous Malcolm McLaren, the Sex Pistols were as much a cultural phenomenon as a band. Their look was deliberately shocking, a middle finger to the establishment. Their music, a raw and aggressive assault on the senses. Their 1977 single, God Save the Queen, became an anthem for a generation ready to challenge authority. The song's release, coinciding with Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee, caused a national scandal. Banned by the BBC, it topped the unofficial charts, becoming a symbol of punk's anti-establishment ethos. The Ramones and the Sex Pistols may have been the figureheads of early punk, but they weren't alone. A whole host of bands emerged in the late 70s, each adding their own unique flavour to the punk stew. In New York, bands like Television, with their art punk sensibilities, and Blondie, blending punk with pop hooks, expanded the genre's sonic palette. Patti Smith, the godmother of punk, brought a poetic sensibility to the movement. In Los Angeles, Black Flag pioneered hardcore punk, a faster and more aggressive strain of the genre. The UK spawned its own punk icons. The Damned, with their gothic overtones, released the first British punk single, New Rose, in 1976. The Clash, led by the charismatic Joe Strummer, infused their punk with reggae and rockabilly influences. The Buzzcocks penned some of punk's most enduring pop anthems, like Ever Fallen in Love. Punk rock wasn't just about rebellion. It was about great music. The first wave of punk, from 1976 to 1979, produced a slew of classic albums and singles that continue to inspire and excite. The Ramones' self-titled debut, the Sex Pistols' Nevermind the Bollocks, and the Clash's London Calling are considered the holy trinity of punk rock albums. These records captured the raw energy and rebellious spirit of the movement. They are essential listening for anyone wanting to understand the genre's roots. Beyond the big three, there are countless other punk gems. The Damned's Damned, 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 the Buzzcocks' Singles Going Steady, and Wire's Pink Flag are all essential punk listening. These albums showcase the diversity of punk rock. From the raw power of the Damned to the angular art punk of Wire, punk was never a one-dimensional genre. Section 5, DIY or Die Crafting Your Own Punk Rock Riot. The beauty of punk rock lies in its accessibility. You don't need to be a musical virtuoso to write a punk song. In fact, punk often celebrates a raw, untrained energy. It's about attitude and conviction as much as musical proficiency. From a guitarist's perspective, punk is all about simplicity and directness. Forget about complex chord progressions or flashy solos. Punk is about power chords, bar chords, and driving rhythms. A simple, effective riff is all you need to get the mosh pit moving. Start with a simple, catchy riff. Use power chords or bar chords for a raw, powerful sound. Keep the song structure straightforward. Verse, chorus, verse is your friend. Don't be afraid to experiment with different tempos and dynamics. A well-placed breakdown can add an extra punch to your song. Remember, it's all about energy and attitude. Section 6. Tools of the trade, essential gear for the aspiring punk. While punk embraces a DIY ethos, having the right gear can help you achieve that raw, powerful sound. Thankfully, punk doesn't require a lot of fancy equipment. A guitar with humbucker pickups is a good choice for punk. Humbuckers deliver a thick, powerful tone that can handle distortion well. Classic punk guitars include Gibson Les Pauls and SGs, but don't be afraid to experiment with cheaper alternatives. A loud amp is crucial for any punk guitarist. Look for an amp with plenty of headroom and a good overdrive channel. Marshall stacks are the classic punk amp, but again there are plenty of affordable alternatives available. Effects pedals aren't essential for punk, but a distortion or overdrive pedal can help you achieve that signature punk crunch. Section 7. Punk by numbers, tempo, keys and chords. While punk is all about breaking rules, there are some musical conventions that are common to the genre. Understanding these conventions can be helpful when writing your own punk songs. Tempo is crucial in punk. Most punk songs clock in between 160 and 190 beats per minute. This fast tempo helps create the energy and urgency that characterizes the genre. Punk songs are often written in simple keys like E major, A major or G major. These keys are easy to play on guitar and allow for straightforward song structures. Power chords, which are essentially root notes and fifths played together, are the backbone of punk guitar. Bar chords, which allow you to play the same chord shape up and down the neck, are also commonly used. Section 8. Give 'em enough rope lyrical themes in punk rock. Punk rock lyrics are often raw, direct and politically charged. Social injustice, alienation, rebellion and personal freedom are common themes. Punk songs often reflect the frustrations of young people who feel unheard and unseen. Don't be afraid to be controversial or to challenge the status quo. Punk lyrics are often about speaking truth to power, even if it makes people uncomfortable. Personal experiences can also provide rich lyrical fodder. Write about what you know, what angers you, and what inspires you. Humour is also a key element of punk rock lyrics. Punk often uses satire and irony to critique society and its institutions. Don't take yourself too seriously. Punk can be fun too. Section 9. Further afield, deep dives into punk rock history. This is just a brief introduction to the vast and influential world of punk rock. If you're eager to delve deeper, numerous resources are available. Please Kill Me, The Uncensored Oral History of Punk by Legs McNeil and Gillian McCain, offers a raw and unfiltered look at the early days of punk in New York City. England's Dreaming Anarchy, Sex Pistols, Punk Rock and Me by John Savage chronicles the rise of punk rock in the UK, with a particular focus on the Sex Pistols. The Decline of Western Civilization, a 1981 documentary directed by Penelope Spheris, captures the raw energy of the Los Angeles punk scene. These are just a few starting points. There are countless books, documentaries and articles dedicated to exploring the history and impact of punk rock. So put on your leather jacket, crank up the volume and dive into the exciting world of punk.